Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Big G Outdoors. With the coronavirus and everything, we got, some free time on our hands, so we're gonna do a little maintenance to all of our bows. I've been shooting the Striker Classic longbow, but Damon Howard Hunter 60 pounds is definitely the hunting bow. This is the, I got a real high FOC, lots of weight up front. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put some brush buttons and a limb tip protector on it. So let's get at it. I'll show you some benefits of both. So first we're going to start with the brush buttons. Sometimes when you're walking along hunting, you can get tangled up in some brush. And the string in your bow right there, and you'll end up pulling off leaves and twigs and everything like that. And sometimes you'll actually get so hung up that you can't even move. You're like stuck in the brush, and it's a big pain. So what we're going to do today is install some brush buttons to avoid all this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, and a lot of people already know this, and I do too, I usually write down all my bows, what arrows I'm shooting out of them, what brace height I have them set at, the knock height and everything. But if you're going to do any kind of maintenance to your bow, even though I know and have it written down, I just want to check just to be sure. So the first thing I'm going to do is check my brace height. Right at 7 3/4, just like I thought. Now I'm going to check my knock height. Since I have a double knock on here to keep the arrow from sliding up and down the string, you want to check the high knock. So that's what's going to be your measurement. And I am exactly at 5/8 high from the shelf. 5/8 high from level. So we're going to put everything on here and make sure that we're back at those measurements when we're done. Okay, the first thing you want to do is unstring the bow. A lot of times you'll have it unstrung already, but if you strung it up to measure take your brace height and your knock height, you're going to want to unstring the bow. Got my Selway stringer here. And you'll notice I didn't just slide it down the limb. I actually took it off the tip, because for our purposes here, we're going to need the end free from the tip. So we got our brush buttons here that we got from Three Rivers Archery. They come with 2 brush buttons and this little Carter pin. And you'll see what the Carter pin is for in a minute. First of all, I like to take some wax. This is some really soft wax. Usually I use like a kind of really hard beeswax because it seems to last longer. But for this purpose, this stuff's a little more has a little more lubricant properties. So I like to use this for this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little wax on here, and it's going to just help the brush button slide on. Okay. Rub it in there pretty good. Next thing I want to do is take that Carter pin, and what you're going to do is you're going to put it through the loop like that and stick it out. Now you want to take your brush button and make sure that you put it on the correct way. So you want the flat edges pointed towards your knock end, and the round edges pointed towards your tip end. If I can get this thing open. Okay, so flat edges towards our knock end, round edges towards our tip end. And you're just gonna stick that quarter pin through there. And once you get it to here, it's gonna be a little tough, especially since I have a Flemish twist. It's a little bit wider. You wanna get yourself a good pair of pliers, needle nose, or it really doesn't matter. Any kind of pliers, vice grips, whatever. Grab a hold of that and just give a little shake and pull it down. Now you can put it anywhere on the string, because once you put it on the bow, then you're gonna adjust where it is. All right, there you go. So now we are gonna do the same thing to the other side. I'll skip that. Okay, now we got our brush buttons on both sides. Flat side towards the knock, round side towards the tips. Now, all we're gonna do is restring our bow. Okay, now that we got the bow restrung, we're gonna check back and see our measurements. First, we're gonna check the brace height. So I lost a couple twists. I'm not even 7.5, so I'm gonna have to make this a little bit. I'm gonna have to put a couple more twists in the bow and get me back to the 7 3/4. Just take your stringer, just like you would adjusting your brace height any other time. So now that we adjusted our brace height, we're gonna check it again. 7 3/4, perfect. Now we're gonna check the knock height. And we're back to 5/8. So we're back to where we were. But now what we wanna do is adjust our brush buttons. So on a recurve, you want to take them down to where it just touches the limb on both sides. And what this is going to do, this is going to serve two purposes. We already got our Navajo puffballs on here, but these little rubber brush buttons on your string is also going to quiet it down more. So between the Navajo wool puffballs, the brush buttons, and the Velcro I have on the limb, this bow should be pretty quiet for a 60-pound bow. And also, I shoot pretty heavy arrows, so that also quiets the string down some. So now that we got all this on, let's put our limb tip protector on. Okay, I got this from Three Rivers Archery too, and this is like a rubber one. On my longbow, I had like a leather one, but I had since replaced it with this rubber one because the leather one isn't very waterproof, water resistant. So these are nice because not only does it protect your limb tip from scratches and getting, I don't know, chipped or whatever, but since it is rubber, it's very good for if you're doing like a 3D course or something and you set it down against a tree, your limb tip isn't sitting in the mud or the snow or something. And when you're hunting, if you have it, if you set it down, it isn't in the mud now. So what you do is you just slide this on here and push it on here real good. Get it over your string. And that's it. So this will serve two purposes too. Not only will it protect the limb tip and everything, but it's kind of like a string keeper. It'll keep the bottom end of your string on the string loop there, on the grooves. So whenever you let it down and the top end slides down the limb, if there's too much slack, this end isn't just gonna pop off the grooves. So, like I said, a couple minutes, did a pretty nice upgrade here with the brush buttons and the limb tip protector. So let's take a couple shots, see if we got any quieter, and basically just a nice day. I just want to shoot. And like I said, I haven't shot this bow in a while. I've been shooting the Striker Classic. So let's get our glove and arm guard on and go take a couple shots. All right, so now that we have our brush buttons on and we're all set up here, let's take a couple shots. See how quiet she got. Now, probably haven't shot this bow since maybe November. So I don't know how good we're gonna do. And like I said, you all know my Howard Hunter's 60 pounds. I've been shooting the 50 pound. So let's see how we do. See how quiet it is. Really quiet. Not bad for the first shot either. Well, at least we're grouping good. We're just off a little bit. That one was a little high. Felt myself drop my bow on. Gonna take a couple more shots here. Really quiet. Like I said, not bad for not shooting it since November. There you go, folks. Other than a little bit of rattle from the quiver and some loose arrows maybe, I think the bow's pretty quiet. And, you know, maybe $3 for the brush buttons and $3 for the limb tip protector. I think it made a pretty big difference in the bow. So, hey, thanks for watching Big G Outdoors. Shoot straight, have fun, and see you next time.